This post was made about 11 months ago. Comes from the subreddit Glitch in the Matrix by user Red Leaders. It's titled, "I died in late 2015, but I was given a second chance." I've never used Reddit before, but a friend of mine was talking to me about the Glitch in the Matrix subreddit, so I decided to share my story here. I don't have any explanation for it almost 3 years later. Rewind back to September 2015. I was a freshman who had just entered high school 2 weeks prior. Already school was weighing down on me, and I've been continuing a habit I had of going on walks to clear my mind. On this day, I've been walking around a pond near my house. There's a trail that goes around the pond, and then the trail leads up to a set of abandoned train tracks on the other side, which sit about 15 feet above the path and pond below. After walking the circle, I was crossing the train tracks when I decided I wanted some ice cream. The fastest way to get to the ice cream shop was to take the path below the train tracks. There isn't any way to cross a pond without going all the way back around, and being 14 years old, I decided that I could jump from the tracks onto the path below and keep walking. Looking down from above, it didn't seem that far of a jump, so that's what I did. The next thing I remember after that was being half conscious in an ambulance. Everything was extremely blurry and the paramedics sounded slightly panicked. I wasn't able to move either of my legs, so I think they were broken. This scene continued on for a few minutes, until we arrived at the hospital and I was wheeled into an emergency room on a stretcher. I only had a few minutes in emergency before I lost all consciousness, and that was the last thing I saw. After I'd been unconscious for what felt like about an hour, I opened my eyes and I was on the ground. I had just hit the ground after jumping, but this time I was fully conscious. I hadn't noticed this before I jumped, but there had been a car parked watching me. I think they thought I was attempting suicide. Probably looked that way. The people in it had jumped out and called an ambulance for me. The ambulance ride had been the exact same as it was, quote unquote, the first time. I was put into the same emergency room that I had, quote unquote, died in before. The only difference between the two events were that I was fully conscious this time. My injuries were much more minor. I was discharged from the hospital the same night, with only stitches in my lips, a slightly fractured jaw, and a mild concussion. For a while after this, I assumed the first scenario had just been a weirdly coincidental dream that I'd had while I was unconscious, so I didn't consider it anything abnormal. It wasn't until a few weeks after when my mom told me that the people who helped me said that I had been conscious the entire time. I hadn't been knocked out after hitting the ground or anything. So, that entire scenario managed to happen in the few seconds it took for me to hit the ground while I was still conscious. Anyways, I'm not very good at describing things, especially with how blurry this day was now that it was years ago. But I'm 17 now. I still have no way to explain what happened that day, other than I died and was given a second chance. Hope you enjoyed that video. Feel free to like, comment, share. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Turn on those post notifications for all my future uploads. Here's 2 other videos you might enjoy.